I have with me this week in Grace's Girls Club a very, very special guest. I have Miss Tiffany with me. Tiffany, could you please tell us your name, your title, and the company that you work for?
Yes, my name is Tiffany Vinson. I'm a senior forensic scientist with the Alabama Department of Forensic Sciences here at the Huntsville Regional Laboratory.
Very cool, very cool. So walk me through your day to day. What do you do in your daily life at work?
On majority of the time, I'm in a laboratory. I receive evidence that has been submitted by law enforcement agencies. I triage it, analyze it to determine the presence or absence of controlled substances. I do case review, peer review of case work. I also do maintenance on the instruments that we use to determine analysis conclusions on reports. And finally, I testify in court when called upon.
Wow, that is a whole lot to go on. And, I should have thought it, but I didn't even think about the in court testifying part. But of course, that makes perfect sense.
Yes, and we are considered expert witnesses when we do go to court. Per the law, the accuser has the right to ask question of the person who's accusing them. So we do get called to court to explain what we do on a routine basis, the conclusions of our report, and answer any additional questions from the prosecution or the defense.
Wow, you really gotta know your stuff. But just talking to you even for a couple minutes, I can tell you already do. So the letters in STEM, Tiffany, science, technology, engineering, and math. Walk me through which letter or series of letters most applies to your job.
So definitely science. I have a background in chemistry that I use on a routine basis at work. We deal with things that are new, compounds that have not been seen before. So I do use my science background in chemistry to look at data to determine what the compound may be, if it's illicit or not. Also, with working with our instrumentation, there is a lot of technical work that we need to be able to interpret and explain to a juror in layman's terms. So you definitely have to have a strong background in a science with a science degree in order to do the job that I do on a routine basis.
Absolutely. And it sounds like pretty substantial communication skills as well. Like you talked about, and sometimes even what we experience in our field as meteorologists is we talk at a scientific level, but that's only with a very select group of people. Most of the time we take what we know and we kind of have to explain it to somebody else who's not as familiar with, some of the lingo or some of the abbreviated terms. And it sounds like that is a key part of your job.
It definitely is, especially going to court or having these conversations with members of the community. We just need to make sure that they understand what we do, and when we testify, everything behind it. It defeats the point of using a lot of technical words if they don't understand how that pertains to the case or the evidence or the conclusions of the report as well.
Absolutely. So walk me through what type of schooling you went through, what type of degree you have educationally. How did you get to the point where you are today?
I have a bachelor's of science degree in chemistry from Xavier University in Louisiana, and I'm currently in pursuit of my master's degree in forensic sciences from the University of Florida. I went to school thinking I was going to be a physician until I got to the point that I decided this may not be the best route for me. And at that time, the original CSI crime scene investigation TV show, Las Vegas, was just coming out on television. I know that was the very first one. And that show intrigued me a lot. And having conversations with my father, who at the time was a corporal state trooper with Alabama, he recommended, you can do that with a chemistry degree. Have you thought about that? And I said, no. I said, there's no way I can do this. So he got in touch with the laboratory director at the laboratory that he submits his evidence at. And she and I connected. And the next time I went home, I visited a laboratory, asked her questions. She told me what, the life of a forensic scientist really is compared to what is displayed on television. And at that point, I decided, yes, I can do this. I think this will be a career that I would be interested in. So I graduated in May of that year and started in October and been doing it for almost 19 years.
How incredibly cool. And what a success story. You know, they make shows about all different professions. And I feel like most of the time you go and you become that thing and it's kind of a letdown or it's not exactly what you wanted. But with you, you have that as one of your shining success stories. How cool is that?
It is awesome. Just never would have thought, didn't know anything about forensics until the show was um, placed on television, and never would have thought that this would be what I'll be doing for not necessarily a lifetime, but for at least 19 years. And
Yeah.
it's something that I love. So.
Well, you know, my favorite show is SWAT, but I don't think I'm going to go join in the force. I think those people have a little more skill than I do.
Right, right. I was like, it does interest me, but I'm just like, I don't want to deal with the pressures of what they have to do on a routine basis.
Oh my goodness. So, Tiffany, walk me through what the best part of your job is.
The best part, I feel, is just being able to serve my community. I am a servant leader. I love doing things for my community. So, with my job, from a different perspective, I am enabling that, criminals are placed in jail, illicit controlled substances are pulled from the street. It's just what I do means something to the community. So that gives me fulfillment every day that I walk into this building and do my job.
Absolutely. That was incredible. And, you know, I completely agree with you. Having that purpose behind your passion is really so important. So, that was the best part of your job. Walk me through some of the challenges that you have to face every day and some of the things you have to problem solve and work through.
So, a couple of things. One is the pressure that, someone, depending, on your work that you do, we do have checks and balances, but, someone's life is in your hand with what we do on a routine basis. Two, with technology, I know technology is ever changing on a daily basis. It's the same thing with forensics, with the analyses that we can conduct on evidence that's submitted. People are coming up and producing new designer drugs on a routine basis. So just seeing new things, how minds are ticking, and just keeping up with trends that are going on in the United States. People will come up with things that are not necessarily illicit, but gives you similar effects to an illicit drug. And it's our job to determine those compounds, how they are related to illicit drugs, and try to get them to a controlled substance list. So, those drugs can come off the streets. So those are the challenges that we deal with, or that I deal with on a routine basis.
Hmm. So, Tiffany, tell me this. If you had to do it all over again, would you choose this career path?
Definitely. I have fulfillment with my job. Every day I come into work, we are a close knit community. I can say before I got into the field, I never knew a forensic scientist, and I get asked on a regular basis when they find out what I do. We don't know forensic scientists, so I have pride in what I do, in how I serve the state of Alabama and my agency as a whole. So, looking back over everything over the last 19 years of my journey here, I would definitely do it all over again.
Absolutely. Well, let me just extend a heartfelt thank you because of the work you do every day. Our streets, our neighborhoods, our communities and schools, they're all a whole lot safer. So thank you for that. I do know how busy you are, though. So I do want to let you get back to saving the world there, Miss Superwoman. Um, but if you had a message to young girls or young students in general who wanted to join the STEM force one day, what would that message be?
My message would be don't don't necessarily be discouraged if your path is not straight. and be open to different possibilities. I know as young women, young girls, in our mind, we have what we think we want to be, besides wives and mothers. But, there are opportunities that can be brought before you that you never would have thought about that you would enjoy and love. So don't be limited about what you foresee right now that you want to be. Keep your options open, and if you dream it, if you work hard for it, it will become yours one day.
Absolutely. I couldn't think of a better message. Don't be discouraged if your path isn't straight. I love that. Well, Tiffany, welcome to the Girls Club.
Thank you for having me.
It's been so great having you today. Thank you for sharing not only your time, but also so much of your expertise and wisdom with us. I hope you have a great day today.
You too, and thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thanks, Tiffany. See you later.
Okay, bye.